All right. Hello, everybody. Grand Rising. My name is Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology. Welcome to Astrological Coffee Talk. And you know what? I actually had coffee. I've been naughty 2 days in a row, even though I've stopped, but I've been dealing with severe allergies, and I find that coffee helps with those allergies. Today, we are talking about a very powerful energy and transit. We're talking about Chiron, the wounded healer, which is the energy antenna in Taurus, the bull. This begins on Juneteenth, June 19th, and it will go to September 17th. It's a quick preview, as we've seen some of the outer planets do this over the years, Neptune, Pluto, right? So, what's going to happen, it will retrograde back into Aries, finish up, and then go, I think it comes back in April of 2027, all the way to 2033. So, we will do this again for the full transit. But I thought it was apropos and important to do this now because the next few months we're going to be busy with Uranus, Gemini, and Jupiter going into Leo. So I was like, you know what? This is a good time to do this. And next Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, $13.65, I will be doing Brandon Lee's birth chart. If some of you guys remember, if you were here 2 months ago when we did Bruce Lee, extremely fascinating. And everybody there seemed like they would want to see his son's chart being the way that the two gentlemen died. So I think that'll be really fun to learn. I'm going to bring up the chart, but let me first explain Chiron, the wounded healer. So this is the energy antenna, right? It was a centaur. Oh God, I'm about to lose the story, but basically the whole thing was he was trained, I believe, by Apollo, and Chiron became like the greatest healer. He was an astrologer, an artist, a painter, all this stuff, but he got wounded and he was immortal, and he could not heal himself and no one could heal him. He was the best healer. And so he said, you know what, I want to die, and I don't want to be immortal anymore. And so I don't know, I think it may have been Zeus, whatever they did. Then he moved up to between Uranus and Saturn, but he's in the Sagittarius constellation. Okay. And so with Uranus and Saturn, that kind of lets you know that there's a very conscious wounding and a very, whether you want to say unconscious or subconscious, I would probably say unconscious wounding. You can have a Chiron wound. I guess it's weird to say, but almost like a triple entendre or three times a lady, right? Because you can have one in the womb between like maybe 12, 14 months old, but you can also experience it based on the actual degree point. So if it is like this transit at 0 degrees, you may experience it as soon as you're born or right in the womb or right as you're turning 1 year old. But let's say if your Chiron in Taurus was at 15 degrees, there could be the double wounding of 15 years old, and then 1 + 5 is 6, 6 years old. So I've had many clients where that has occurred, where there have been multiple woundings, and sometimes a lot of clients have to go back if their mother is still alive or parents and ask them, what happened to me at 2 or 3? Because some of us are not aware of the wound. But what happens is when you help others to heal with the wound, that's how you heal yourself and become the wounded healer. It is a very powerful energy. It's something that's underestimated in astrology, and it's really important, which is why at this time with these planetary shifts, I feel that Chiron has been in Aries. And while Chiron is in Aries, there have been this time around and back in the 60s, a lot of assassination attempts or actual assassinations, right? So you had that with RFK, MLK, and Malcolm X. JFK was still Pisces, Chiron. So, and obviously we've had, the attempts, whether they were real or not, on Trump's life this go round. So that's a little gist about Chiron. But in terms of the Aries, it's about us asserting ourselves and initiating and becoming the independent, brave, courageous fighter and warrior. And at this time, we have to fight for everything because as the structures and systems crumble, right? We've got to initiate and become the tribal leaders, right? I tell you, on the community and in our community as well, online and in person. But with Taurus, we're talking about what? We're talking about your body, your speech, your values, your self-worth, self-love, your money. Could literally be things around your tongue or your jaw, your teeth. All right. So this is going to be really fascinating. We're going to bring up the chart. And then as I'm going along, you have any questions? There are no silly questions. Please ask. But this is the wonderful chart. I decided to do New York. It's June 19th at 6:21 p.m., which gives us, yay, Scorpio rising. Chiron Taurus in the seventh house, okay? But what's interesting is June 19th, we know it's Gemini season, and look at our friend Uranus in the eighth house. Remember, that comes in April 25th. So for someone like me, Scorpio rising, it's going to be in my eighth house for 7 years. Ooh, get ready for the fun, right? But what's fascinating at this chart and this time, we have the moon in Virgo. Not by degree an exact square, but a square by sign and house, right? Gemini, as I'll be teaching in the course, and I hope some of you sign up. It's going to be really fun, starting March 29th for 8 weeks, Mother's Day off, to June 14th. Each class is then 90 minutes. You'll receive the recording, and you're going to get my astrology workbook. And then once the hard copy is out, you'll get that as well. You're going to have a lot of homework. Not overwhelming, but just so you can really learn how to read a birth chart and learn the basic foundations of astrology, going through signs, planets, houses, aspects, annual perfection, secondary progression, transit charts, modalities, decans, degrees. I may even overwhelm you a little bit and sneak in some lunar mansion stuff, but that's more of a level 2 course. But I just love to give people more insight to really be able to go in a deeper reading and breaking down a chart, and the lunar mansions help you do that. But it's going to be a wonderful experience and wonderful course. And I do have payment plans, right? You can do 2 payments at $350, or if you need to, 4 payments of $175 to make it affordable. And just, so just email me and we can talk about it and work whatever out you need. Now, what's fascinating, the Chiron's in the 7th house. Now we're going to look at this for Scorpio rising, but we're just breaking down the general energy, and then I'll go around to each ascendant. So that way it will cover each one of you. And when I do, please chime in and talk about your personal placements. That's the benefits of showing up to Coffee Talk, right? So I can explain it for how it will be for you. Okay. So for Scorpio risings, I guess, I may be the only Scorpio rising here today. No, Melissa is. Sorry. So Chiron in Taurus at 0 degrees, it's first coming in. And when it's at 0 degrees, it's at its most potent point, and then the energetic critical degree at 29 degrees. But this is a little example. For example, the lunar mansion behind this at 0 degrees. So you're looking at Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. And then the 0 degree is Taurus decan. But then the lunar mansion behind it is the sun. So that means that there's an essence of vitality and ego here. Okay. When you're dealing with the 7th house, this wounding is going to be around contracts, negotiations, relationships, you in relation to the other half, whether it's friendships, relationship, business partnership, or marriage. It's dealing with open enemies, the courthouse, right? The scales of justice, but it's also the scales of shopping, the marketplace where we barter and trade and purchase items, whether it's food, clothing. It's also fame in the kitchen in your home. So when we're dealing with this, right off the bat, just to kind of get the silly fun thing out of the way, and it's also the maternal grandmother, the second child, and the skills of the first, this Chiron wounding, this may be around, it's different in a transit. So I will say in the natal birth chart, it could probably be about the first relationship you see. At 0, you're not dating anybody. It's your parents' relationship. So that happens often, especially when the Chiron wound is in the seventh house. So it can wound your vision, how you relate to others in relationship to others. And we learn, people don't realize we learn everything by seeing the dynamics of our mother and father, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. If dad was a no-show, never showed up. You're learning from that. The absence of is a learning. Okay. So this Chiron wound for the Scorpio rising, but just for this chart in general, we're really looking at, and I want to just show you, it is squaring, right? And you're going to learn this in the course. It is squaring what? Pluto. And it's a 5-degree orb. 0 to 5 is still good within the square. Some astrologers may tell you 7, but that's really far. The conjunction goes from 0 to 10 in terms of the orb difference between the degrees. 0 to 5, you could still feel this. So this is interesting to know this for this chart and for every ascendant. This will be the same place, but it's always squaring Pluto and Aquarius. So there is an emphasis of transformation and healing around this energy. One thing that, and remember, this is capturing the energy and the frequency and vibration until September, I think it's 17th. Okay. So what's happening with it being in the seventh house here, we have got to realize how we are spending our money, how we value ourselves when we are communicating or relating to others. Is our throat chakra open? Right? But because this is the kitchen and it's squaring Pluto Aquarius in the home, right? Taurus, earth sign, making sure we're getting enough of the fruits and vegetables. I never judge anybody or talk about whether you should or shouldn't eat meat. It's up to you. But even if you are eating a lot of meat, you've got to make sure you're doing parasite cleanses and getting enough of the fruits and veggies, intermittent fasting, eating with the circadian rhythms of the sun, whatever it is. Because when you're squaring Pluto, the Pluto is letting you know in the square, this is an uncomfortable, challenging energy. But squares are opportunities for growth. So the growth is transforming yourself in the home and in the kitchen, right? Exploring, and let me say this, why I say this. Pluto is virus, but it deals with toxins. The fixed signs, and especially Aquarius, also deals with toxins. Pluto is transformation, transmutation, thinking outside the box. So, like I was talking about last night, and Janice was so sweet, sent me a text, right, about peptides, right? And, with injections and stuff like that, different things for healing and, ways to heal. Chiron, sometimes it is actually your body. It may not be your self-worth, may not be your values or your money or your throat or your tongue. It could literally be the container. Taurus is the first earth sign, so it's like the physical container. Virgo is too, the body, right? The earth signs are connected to the body, right? Things that are manifesting in the 3D and the physical reality. So that's really important. Now, if we look up here, right? Because you want to kind of, this is something that, I'll be teaching you in the course, but this is something you want to always remember. Look at the aspects. So the first ones that are easy to look at are the squares because it's that 90-degree angle. And when you're in an angular house, right? If you're in the seventh house, it's 4 and 10 you go to. So this is out of it, 7 degrees, but it is a loose square to Venus. Venus and Leo at this time, talking about our values, our money, relationships, right? Things like that. So that is kind of a loose fixed T square. So when you think about your career, your outdoor life, your father, the government, the authorities, your public image, then your private home, emotions, your inner dwelling, your peace, your sanctuary, your mother. And when you have the T square, it's pointing, and the point to the T is at Chiron. So that's the emphasis you look at, right? The Venus and the Pluto are like, no, 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 it's not me. It's not me. If you got kids, it's not me. It's not me. Look at Chiron. He did it. So Chiron is in the seventh house, which deals with a lot of things. So we also have to look at our wounding, right? About our savings and investments. Are we just willy-nilly shopping, going crazy? Are we reading, like Alana shares with us, right? Are we reading the ingredient list? Are we getting high vibrational clothing? Are we getting organic or healthy food? These are the things that this wounding is going to be speaking about. But also, it's not just you. It's you in relation to the other half. So If you're bringing a partner into your home, are they eating the way you eat? Do they have self-love and good self-worth? Do they value money? Do they just like, always get into debt? Are they always overspending? So it's you in relation to the other half. So this is very important for Melissa and I, but just for the energy in general of this transit, because even though we're going to look at all 12 houses, this is the chart. Okay. So that's really important when you're thinking about that, because just imagine, and Mars is there, not in a conjunction, but Mars is in Taurus, and that's where it's debilitated. So that there is that need to sometimes open up the throat chakra and have an argument with the other half, right? You could flip out in the supermarket and be like, this says it's organic and it's not, it's got that appeal crap on it. Ah, you're like, oh, okay. Maybe you should go to another grocery store. But but just to give you an example how this Mars can play out, you could get upset with your partner or a friend, right? And usually the open enemy are people that we are close to, right? Um, and that Mars being there can create issues and arguments. So this wounding can get, even though it's not in a conjunction, can get magnified a little bit by that assertive, aggressive, debilitated energy of Mars and Taurus. Does that make sense? So that's important to see. The Sun Moon square, but one thing I will tell you in doing the research for this, these two energies are speaking at this time, because you don't want to just look at the Chiron, you want to see all the planetary alignments. So that the main thing that's important is the square to Pluto. Then we're going to look for the trines. Um, with the Virgo moon, it's about health and being of service to others. In the 11th house, you can get into like, nonprofit, helping people over the internet, accounting, long-term investment. So when you're talking about the money, this is you and your partner, business partner, relationship partner, marriage partner, emotionally with the moon. How are you doing the investments, right? I say that because what? The 11th house is hopes, dreams, and wishes, but the long term investments, where the fifth house is the day trading and stock market. Is it trining anything here? Of course, Regulus, but that's mainly it, right? The moon is, way further up here. Um, but you could kind of feel it a little bit, okay? Because it's actually not that far off. But the one thing I will say is that this is speaking to how we need to watch how we're bringing things into our physical reality emotionally and manifesting new opportunities to bring things into our physical reality, to take care of our finances. Also, we see gold in the 11th house. So think about what's going on with our markets and everything, right? And this whole, I don't even know if war is the right way to call it or whatever, but I'll probably show this on YouTube, so I'm not going to get too crazy into that. But the one thing I will say is that we have to look at everything in the spiritual realm. I've told you guys this for a long time, but we've been in World War III, right? It's spiritual, right? And so, you may see people talking about it online or not, but, Iran is ancient Babylon and Persia, right? And this is where they have stargates. Stargate 10 is there. This is about controlling the traffic and the railways and the flows of interdimensional energies, people, frequencies, vibrations. So just what you see above ground, there's things happening underground. Just like when they went to Iraq, that was for ancient artifacts and for the Nephilim. So it's never what you just see with these two eyes. And so that's something that we have to learn and kind of grow into. And sometimes it can be hard to fathom, like, oh, well, what does that mean, really? Da, 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 da. Well, when you start to study quantum physics and different energy and different dimensions, you realize that this is an interdimensional planet. And whether it's Anunnaki or Greys or all these other different species, they can come through and maybe they're beyond the ice wall and already been here, right? So that's just something to consider. But this is telling us, and same with this Gemini moon in the eighth house, Gemini sun, excuse me, in the eighth house with Uranus, mediumship, getting into other people's resources. So still with the spouse, there's concerns with that, with this Taurus Chiron, right? And remember the energy antenna, you're feeling it. you can feel things in your body. You can feel things in your jaw, right? And then make you close or open your throat chakra in terms of like, I think my wife or oh, my husband, he's gambling again and he's spending money on this and this and that or whatever. But the sun in eighth house is your partner's resources, other people's money, inheritance, insurance, power, control, sex, abuse, manipulation, death and rebirth, emergency, sudden events. Sun Uranus there, suddenly your husband could lose his job. Suddenly you could lose, you know what I mean? So, or suddenly get a raise or promotion. But this is getting into Gemini, data analysis, the analytics. Why, when I placed this ad, did somebody purchase at 12:30 p.m. and how many people did? That's analytics. That's data. So this chart at this time to help us with our Chiron resources, with us and our spouse or business partners or whoever our other half is, with the Virgo moon and Gemini sun, it's talking about higher education. Why do I say that? Virgo, what's the ruler of the moon? You look at the ninth house. This is house rulership, Cancer, or wisdom, beliefs, philosophies, higher education. And who's here? Jupiter and Mercury. Write your book. Go back to school. Wisdom, beliefs, philosophies, master's, PhD, guru, devotion, studying, eighth house, right? The esoteric occult knowledge, astrology, numerology, cardology, gematria, soul contracts, human design, right? So the ruler of the sun is here in the 10th house in Leo, your public image. How can you improve your career? Venus is here. You see all these connections, Venus, money. So with this Chiron wound, to help you with it, you need to be aware of your health, Virgo moon, your investments, right? Because we're having a shift, whether it's getting into XRP, right? XLM, Bitcoin, whatever it is. Now you see like all the stuff that's coming out with the Epstein files that like, oh my God, the originator of Bitcoin and this and that could have been Jeffrey Epstein. Oh no, da 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 da. Well, whatever, right? The fact is, the people that are in power are going to change us off the fiat currency, and we will get to digital coins and stable coins, the USD coin. Okay, it's coming. And that's what you're seeing with all this stuff, right? America is imploding itself on purpose. Okay. And so we just have to accept it. But it's not like you could just say, oh, I'm leaving America and I'm going to where? Portugal, Costa Rica, Ghana, the G20 summit. They're all in it together. There's nowhere you can go. So you might as well stay where you got connections and people, because it's not like there's one place that's untouched. I mean, you see with this orange thing, right? He's blowing up every. Oh, I won't get us to any wars. Well, we're just taking out people, whether it's in Nigeria, Africa for some fake excuse, for Venezuela, for Iran. Oh, they were gonna threaten. They were threatening, and they weren't doing anything. So whatever, right? But it's important for you to understand that this is about you and your partners. Chiron, the energy antenna, we have got to open up our throat chakras. Uranus is in Gemini, communication. When you get these downloads, right, you have got to share them and share them with the other half. You may share them in the marketplace. But if you don't have the self-worth and self-love, what do people do with addictions? They overeat, they oversex, they overspend. This Chiron is trying to heal that wound. I believe it's in the seventh house for this chart and this frequency and vibration to help us not only to open up our throat chakras and to have true self-worth and self-love, to speak authentically from our hearts, to heal our bodies, to have cash, gold, silver, a little bit of crypto, whatever, to be practical, prudent, pragmatic about our finances, right? But also to increase our spiritual practices and our education, our devotion. This lineup of the Gemini Uranus Sun, the Jupiter Mercury in the ninth house of education and publishing and travel and vacation, the Venus Leo and the Virgo moon. This is all talking about how we can improve and better our lives that are activating everything with the Chiron. Our body, our health, our communication, our speech, our education, so that we could be financially stable and to grow with someone else, a business partner, a long-term relationship or friend, or our spouse, our marriage partner. Okay. So now the Mars is there to trip us up though, right? The Mars is like, you could because listen, this is the thing with the Chiron moon. You can overly open up the throat chakra. You may be too connected to your body and offer it to others too easily or too much. You may be looked at as a sexual object. Your speech could be very assertive and aggressive. Not a loose conjunction, it's not conjunction, but just with Mars being there too in Taurus, seventh house. So that's the thing with Chiron. We've got to find the balance, right? We've got to find that balance. So before I start going around and we'll look at the rest of this chart, Lilith in the house of earning money in Sagittarius is interesting, right? Be intuitive about your food and your speech. Trust your intuition. Okay, that's going to be important. And look at this. The part of fortune's in our third house here, right? Our spiritual and financial blessings can come from our intention of how we communicate with others and our skills, developing our skills. Jupiter Mercury up here is saying like, yeah, oh yeah, you're going to be very skilled as a writer, right? And getting more and higher education. And Venus Leo, you're going to look good doing it and you're going to get the bag, as the young kids say. You're going to make the money. Okay. So any questions? I want to see if it's trining anything in the Capricorn third house. No, we got the part of fortune here. So, any questions about this energy and chart, especially Scorpio risings like you, Melissa? Also, the South Node. Remember, it's leaving July 27th. So, this is in a sextile. So, of our purpose, mission, and destiny. So, it also is telling you you still want to practice your spiritual discipline. You still want to have compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy for yourself first, because that's going to heal your wounding. When you have the self-love, then you can become the healer, the wounded healer, and help heal others. You can help others heal their financial relationships, their personal relationships, right? To increase your self-worth and your values. Or maybe it's just giving some financial advice. Pisces, fifth house, speculative gains, starting your own business. Oh, you know what? Let me show you how to get registered on Etsy and eBay. And you can start selling your numerology and astrology jewelry. Taurus, crystals, jewelry, seventh house, business, right? The marketplace. Pisces, North Node, spiritual, imagination, creativity. You see? So those are different examples. So any questions, Melissa, or anybody about this chart and this energy?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there was a bunch throughout this whole thing. One, so I came down with a cold virus. And this is the first time in my life that it has not turned into bronchitis or pneumonia, that my immune system is coming back online.
All right.
For that, transitioning from a one trade per se to now the more of the logistics, the computer, the behind the scene.
Did we lose you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
So
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, moving to be. I just started a new company and job as a project engineer, from being the person in the field on construction sites running like the mechanical piping for all the heating and air conditioning.
Wow.
So that brings in like the computer, the internet side of things. Also, it's all new learning because I've never done this.
That's exciting. Congrats.
And that's what you talked about within that chart.
Yeah.
And then the viruses, but then coming on there, and then food addiction. So like I've kicked drug addiction. I'm coming up on 9 years clean from drugs.
Congrats.
However, food, I'm now being like, okay, what is this lingering addiction that's lasting? And creating a new thing, while at the same time my partner is going through the whole inheritance thing. And I've got my own opinions and thoughts that are different. House,
that's right. Yeah, because his parents passed. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm just like, holy, like all of this astrology. If you are questioning astrology, man, like my life is a testimony right now to this. And at the same time, coming off of a 40-day biblical fast with our friend Nettie here, like the two of us fasted for 40 days, brings in more spirituality, more connection to source, God, Gaia, whatever you want to fill in the blank for it. And I'm just like, holy wow. But right now I feel it's been heavy this past week physically.
Yeah.
And
but remember, it is for everybody. I want you guys to know you're not alone, Melissa. This Virgo total lunar eclipse, it was the last one and a blood moon in terms of this cycle, the Virgo Pisces cycle, the last full one. And so it's been really intense for everyone because it's happening during a Mercury retrograde in its fall in Pisces. The energy is crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry. And where's natal Chiron?
Natal Chiron. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My chart. My natal Chiron is in Gemini, 25 degrees, 14.
Okay, so at this chart, it's going to be kind of right on the sun, right around the sun. So yeah. So
yeah, and remember, I'm a Leo moon and a Taurus sun. So this is like hard hits for me in so many different ways, but in a empowering way. I mean, you could take stuff and take it negative, but you could take these aspects and really grow. So that was just like, I wanted to share those parts of going through things. And right now it's just a challenge for, like I said in the tribe meeting, patience of allowing this process to happen, but then also being able to reach out to the astrology and be like, okay, what's going on? Because when I know I can do, or I can support it.
I love that. And that's what the astrology is to help us with. Remember right now, we have to all be patient and kind of be still and go within. The one thing we can do right now is control our mindset, our positive thoughts, positive words, our spiritual practice, and our nutrition. That we can control. We may not be able to control anything else in our lives, but if we can focus on that and staying centered in our heart chakra, that is our own internal and external victory and self-soothing and healing, right? We can go meditate for 30 minutes and we think, oh, well, maybe that helped me. No, you're helping the whole conscious field. So do that, right? That's why I've been saying for the last year and a half, right? Become the president leader of your own lives. Become your own media. Trust your intuition, right? Increase your spiritual discipline and practice because I knew the shit show was coming and it's not going to slow down. So right now, think of it as like we're all in the womb and the new earth and the new versions of ourselves is like maybe at month 3 or 4. So we're going to be birthed soon. And this new reality, this new 5D is going to be birthed. But it's a woman that's pregnant and she is like, she's on the run. She's not supported. And there's a lot of trauma. And so we're going to just have to be still and be patient and do what we can do to calm down the nervous system of our like provider and sustainer, which is the mother. So, I hope that visual kind of gives you, because it's chaos out there, but we have to go within and take care of this spiritual, physical avatar body and container as best as we can. Any other questions, you guys, with this chart before we start going around to the different ascendants?
You said sextile. What does that mean?
Okay, so here's an example. The sextile has got a Venus energy to it. It's like this poking, like, hey, Cephas, did you meditate today? Hey, Cephas, this will heal and open up your throat chakra. Have you done any toning today? And that's Chiron to the North Node. It's a 60-degree angle. And you could use a 5-degree orb. So this 0 degrees, this Pisces North Node down here in the fifth house, it's at 1. So that's 59 degrees apart, but it could be all the way to 5 degrees. And they're within the orb of the sextile, which is a harmonious energy. The trine is a 90-degree angle, so it's trining that Virgo moon, but that's the easy flow. Sometimes with trines, it's the Jupiter. It's like all this abundance and like, yeah, my moon and Chiron are in perfect harmony. I ground in earth and nature. I eat fruits and veggies. I'm extremely healthy. My finances are being balanced. I'm investing. I've got some gold. It's like beautiful. This moon trining this Chiron is gorgeous, darling. Okay. But this sextile is beautiful too, because it's reminding you like, hey, you're doing good with your nutrition and your investments. But Cephas, don't forget to meditate 30 minutes a day. Don't forget to use your imagination and creativity. That's going to help activate your wounds so that you can inspire and create with your partner or in the marketplace, making your astrology and numerology jewelry. You see? Does that kind of make sense? Because that sextile is like reminding you, hey, don't forget. And what is Taurus? Taurus is creativity, the arts. Remember, the Venus ruled, okay, so it's exalted in Pisces, at home in Taurus and Libra. Libra is very relational, aesthetics, harmony, peace, beauty. Taurus is poetry, the five senses, it's music, it's the arts, it's your fashion. So Taurus are extremely, people don't think about it because everybody thinks about practical, stubborn, stability, pragmatic, finance. Taurus is the DJ, they're the fashion designer, the interior designer and decorator. They're the fashionista, right? They're five senses, right? Robin will tell you what her Taurus moon, right? It's all those things. Hold on, let me check the room. But you know what I'm saying? So that's very important when you think about this Taurus in the seventh house in the marketplace. Taurus wants to go shopping, right? Taurus wants to buy some new clothes, to
That's
look
funny.
good, right? Tell him,
Mm-hmm.
Robin. Taurus cares
Hmm.
about their fabrics and the material. Oh, and this is another.
Yeah, that is
I'm
true.
sorry. Go ahead, Robin. What were you gonna say?
No, nothing. I'm just ad-libbing. That's all.
Okay, okay.
This,
But
this is Jack.
trying. Oh, go ahead. What you were saying?
No, go ahead. You can finish.
No, I was just gonna say, trining the Virgo moon. It's very much speaking to our body health and intuition so that we can help open up the throat chakra and speak to our other half, right, in the marketplace and be very healing, right? Chiron trining the Virgo moon. What is Virgo? The virgin, the wheat and the medicine, right?
Mm.
Right? Being of service to humanity, helping you
Mhm.
with the
That's right.
with the food. And the seventh house is the freaking shopping in the kitchen. So it's like it's the story is so beautiful. It's really communicating.
So,
Yes, go ahead.
okay. Can you, in looking at the chart, explain to us
Mhm.
what sextile you mentioned and you went down to the North Node? Is that what you said?
Yes, and the fifth
Okay.
house.
But when you went trine, you went up.
Yes.
You
Okay.
went, so
So
can you talk about that?
there's
And
no trine. Huh?
one more thing, can I add on to that?
Yes, of course.
Because maybe I'm the only one. Maybe this is
No,
more
no, no. Go ahead.
advanced. Maybe this is way more advanced, but I'm not following.
Okay.
I, I I'm like a ABC 1, 2, 3 type of person.
Okay.
So it's just overwhelming for me
Okay. So
right
hold on. I'm going
now.
to backtrack so you can get this. Chiron is in the seventh house at 0 degrees.
Okay, point to it, please. That will
Right
help.
here. Oh, sorry. Let me get my pointer. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. See the Chiron?
mm-hmm,
0 degrees. This house is 30 degrees.
mm-hmm.
The sixth house below it. Each house is 30 degrees. So I need to go another 30 to complete the sextile. Here it is. The fifth house. This is at 1 degree. So that's actually 59 degrees. But there's a 5 degree orb. So that's why I was saying this Pisces North Node could have been at 5 degrees and it's still within the vibration of the sextile. which is a harmonious energy. And it's telling the Chiron, hey, you and your partner, don't forget when you make your astrology and numerology jewelry to use your Pisces what? Imagination and creativity. Don't forget to pray over your food. Spirituality, Pisces. Taurus, the kitchen, Chiron, right? Don't forget to, get into your spiritual devotion every day. Pisces, North Node. It's your purpose, destiny, obsession, illusion, right? Wherever the North Node is, it's like Pisces. And what is Pisces? Compassionate, empathetic, unconditional love, spirituality, imagination, creativity. So Chiron is sextiling, right? 59 degrees apart. The sextile is a 60-degree vibration. So just two houses over, 7 to 5. You got that, Jackie?
I'm
Right?
gonna let you go ahead.
Okay. No. I really want you guys to get this because we're just counting two houses over, and that's the sextile. So it's very harmonious. It's like, hey, Jackie, when you go shopping, make sure you're, tapping in spiritually and using your psychic or spiritual gifts to remember to read the labels and don't buy stuff that's got a peel or these chemicals on it. For the kitchen, Taurus 7th house, for putting nutrients in your body. Okay. Or it could just be the 5th house is your heart and creativity, right? There's your heart and creativity. Or let's refer to your child. The 5th house is the first child, right? The 7th house is your first child's skills. So you're going to tell your son who's doing the software engineering and programming, make sure you're meditating every day, baby. So that way you manifest a good wife and you guys eat healthy together and have healthy children. Chiron, North Node. 5th to 7th house. And I put that together because the 5th house is your first child. The 7th house is your first child's skills. The 7th house is marriage and relationships. Now, this is for you, but because it's the skills of the second child, right? You're telling him with the Taurus, make sure with his partner, he eats well. Or you could just be saying it with your boyfriend or husband or whoever, right? But this Chiron here at 0 degrees, when we go for a trine, the 7th house can only trine two places, the 3rd and the 11th. It's 120 degrees apart. So let's count. We're at the 7th house. 8th house is 30 degrees. 9th house, sorry, let me get the mouse. 9th house, Cancer, okay, is 60 degrees. 10th house, Leo, is 90 degrees. And the 11th house, Virgo, is 120 degrees. And this Virgo moon, I think that says 3 degrees, right? So Chiron in the 7th house to Virgo moon in the 11th house is a 120-degree angle. Now remember, the trine, we can go up to 7 degrees orb. So if we're at 0, this Virgo moon could be all the way up to 7 degrees, and it's still in the vibration of the trine, which is an easy flow of energy. Remember I told you it's like a Jupiter? So it's like, right? When you heal, when you work on your wounding, right? And you're like in Taurus, right? You're like, you know what? I got to do the research. Maybe I'll do it with my other half, my partner, and we're going to, Virgo moon, we're going to invest in some gold. Long-term investments is the 11th house. 11th house is also gold. Does that make sense? And you'll be supported. Jupiter abundance. So when you do the long-term investments or you get with your account and set up a family will and trust, health insurance, life insurance, it's going to happen easily for you. Does that make sense? You've got the support.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm kind of reading the room here, which
Okay.
I think is what Cephas is doing. Cephas, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, you're saying it right.
Okay. He is doing the same thing by providing some diagrams for us to look at in the chat. So
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Okay.
So just from a quasi, got some experience, but still don't know a whole lot. What, what I know about the houses is the characteristics of the houses is important to know what those characteristics mean, because each house holds a certain body of characteristics.
Yes, that
So
affect our life. Yes,
that
exactly.
affect our lives,
Yep.
correct. So depending on what that characteristic is and the sign that it's in, that you kind of put those two things together, and
And
then you get
three things, because the
the three
sign,
things, the
house, and planet.
planet
Yeah.
and the planet.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you kind of get this whole picture.
You got
So
it.
it takes a minute,
It does. Yes.
but those are the three things.
Yeah. And think about the moon.
So it's,
Think
yeah.
about the moon for a second. It's
Mhm.
your emotional mind,
Yeah.
your body,
Mhm.
your health, your intuition, how you react and respond to others. So just the Virgo moon in 11th house, you could be very connected to your social network, groups, and organizations. You could be of service to humanity through nonprofit and philanthropic work. These are all key words for the 11th house. You
Mhm.
could have a lot of emotional support from your older sibling in the 11th house. We also see your father's siblings here. You may have an aunt or an uncle that is like, I'm going to leave you this little bond that I bought for you in 77 when you were first born or something, and this is yours. And now it's worth like 40,000. You're like, oh, wow, thanks, auntie. Whatever it is. But this is the Virgo moon in the 11th house. But when it's trining this Chiron wound, right, this is where it gives us the Jupiter abundance, the easy flow of energy, the trine, 120 degrees. In this case, it's 117 degrees apart, right? And it's saying that when you want to connect with your social networks and groups, it can help with this wound, right? In terms of how you are eating, your values and self-worth, your money and investments, right? Maybe your older sister lends you 20,000 to remodel your kitchen. Just an example. The 7th house is the kitchen, right? So that's just an example, right, of different things. But with the wounding, it's how you are healing by also helping others. So maybe you are joining a nonprofit where you, on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m., you go to this local food bank and you help feed families, fruits and vegetables. And there's no hiccups. They sign you right up. They're like, Robin, oh, we're going to put you in this booth. And people coming to you, and each week they're like, thank you. You're a godsend. You're an angel. Oh my God, my son, his acne went away. He started eating all fruit and he's doing better in school. That's Chiron Taurus trining the moon in the 7th house. And you're working for this nonprofit at a food bank. You're healing, right? You're feeling all that love. Everybody's like, thank you, Robin. Oh my God. Virgo moon, service to humanity. Chiron, food, self-worth. You're talking to people. And then someone says to you, hey, you know what? You've given so much to me. How can I give back to you? Or they say, this woman's like, oh, girl, you're around the same age as my brother. And he's single and he is very handsome. 7th house, right? All of a sudden, you're serving other people. You wind up with a new man.
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying here? So that's Chiron 7th house trining the Virgo moon. And it happens so easily because you are of service to others. And then all of a sudden you're healing them, which then heals you in the wounding of relationships. And you got a new gentleman caller and he loves organic food. He's like, oh, he comes to you right away. And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm a Sagittarius with a Capricorn moon, and I'm a Scorpio rising. And you're like, oh, that connects with all my placements. Bing, bing, bing. And then you guys live happily ever after. There you go.
Mhm.
Does that make sense now more so?
Mhm.
Do you get that a little bit, Jackie? So I'm going to go through the different houses and
Jackie, wait a minute. What is Jackie saying?
Tell me, Jackie. It's
I'm,
okay. Sir.
all I'm going to say is that, Eric, you really know your stuff. You
Thank you,
really,
my
really,
friend.
you're very, very, you can tell that you know this through and through.
Thank you. Thank you. But I want to help you guys to get it. And so what I'm going to do is in the replay, when I sent you last night, watch that, right? The Chiron in all 12 houses, right? And in Taurus. So then you could put it together and then you look at your chart, watch the Chiron in Taurus, and then watch your what house it's in. And then it will start to solidify. And you look at your chart as you're watching the video, and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I get it now. Thank you, Eric. You know what I mean? So that's, and then in conjunction with this transit, as I go through and explain it. So, all of you guys should know where your Chiron is, but more importantly, we're talking about this transit. So, where your Taurus house is, because this is going to, in transit, it will affect us for this moment of time. We all went through the Chiron Aries wounding. So, for you, Robin, it was in the 12th house, right? For Quintella, it was in the 11th house. For me, in the 6th. Right? No matter where it is in our natal birth chart, the transit. So this is the Taurus Chiron transit. So you'll look not at your natal, even though I asked Melissa that, hers was in Gemini 8th house, but you're going to look at the Taurus 7th house for Melissa and I, because we're both Scorpio risings. That's where Chiron Taurus is. Okay. So that's how you'll be looking at this to understand this transit. And when we do this next April, or next March in 2027, you'll look at it again, but you'll be looking at it all the way to 2033. So when it's in transit, the woundings could be your throat chakra out of nowhere starts to get closed. You start to feel like very insecure about how you talk or communicate with others. You start having issues with your body or your tongue or your teeth. Or maybe there's some wounding or insecurities that come up about your self-worth, right? For Melissa and I, we could be like, oh my God, I'm getting a little insecure in my marriage or relationship, or I'm having a block in communicating, about when I go shopping. I'm not too sure about what I want to buy, or maybe I'm overspending. So those are the wounds that can come up with Chiron in transit in Taurus, because it's dealing with our money, our food, our fashion, our values, our five senses, our body, our speech. And the house will tell you the themes of life that it will touch. In the first house, it's all about you. Second house, your family, your speech, and how you eat and earn money. Third house, your reading, writing, communications. Fourth house, your home, your emotional mind. Fifth house, your children, creativity, speculative gain. Sixth house, your health, your work, your daily routine. Seventh house, your kitchen, you in relation to your business partner or your spouse, right? Or any contract and negotiations you sign. Your eighth house, your intimacy, your power, your partner's resources. Ninth house, your wisdom, beliefs, philosophies. Your publishing, your education. 10th house, the government, your public image, your career, your work. Your 11th house, your social network, your friends, maybe your older sibling, your investments, your hopes and dreams and wishes. 12th house, your intimacy, your bedroom, bed pleasures, but foreign travel, your subconscious mind, your hidden talents. So we're going to go around now. You guys can ask any questions in terms of what house it is for you, and that will help you to understand it more. I'll talk less about the aspects and just focus on the Chiron in each house. So we did Scorpio, 7th house. So let's go now to the 6th house, Sagittarius rising. Taurus will be in the 6th house. So for Sag risings, Chiron and Taurus is 0 degrees, and it's always squaring to Pluto. There's going to be an emphasis on your work and daily routine. How are you communicating with others at work? Are you feeling less than at work, your self-worth and values? Are you Taurus 6th house, going to work? Are you driving too fast? That can happen. Wherever Taurus is, like in the 3rd or the 6th or the 10th, my advice is always to slow down. Okay? Because Taurus, wherever it's at in traveling houses, 3, 6, 10, going to work, leaving your home, they tend to drive fast. The 6th house is work, daily routine, health, hygiene, sickness, illnesses. So here, Sixth house is also your digestion, small, large intestine, and pancreas. You want to make sure Taurus, first earth sign, make sure you're eating more of the fruits and veggies. Okay. Focus on your
Right.
self-worth. Don't let
Well,
the boss or coworker bully you
mm,
at work. Go ahead. What's your question?
I'm confused. Okay, so if you're talking about Sagittarius and you have this chart here, so the Sagittarius is in the second house, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm moving it around. It takes
Okay,
too much time and then it will throw off the chart if I
gotcha,
go in and adjust the times on this
gotcha,
date.
gotcha. But
Okay. So
I
we have
just,
to visual it. I'm sorry. We have to visual
yeah.
it with our eyes. So now we're moving
Mhm.
Sagittarius up to the first house. So
Oh,
this is for Sag
okay,
risings. And when you
okay,
move Sag rising to the first
okay,
house, then the seventh house is the sister sign opposite Gemini. So then you automatically know Taurus
okay,
is in
got
the
it.
sixth, the house before it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense now?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about what house Taurus was in. Okay, never
Oh, no,
mind.
no, I am. So Taurus moves from the seventh down to the sixth because we've just moved clockwise Sagittarius to the first house.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of like turning this way. So then we're
Mm-hmm.
going to go to Capricorn first house, and then Taurus will be in the fifth.
Because Sagittarius would go up to the first house.
That's right.
Everything on the right would come down. So
That's
Taurus would come down to the sixth house. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So one thing that you have to think
Clockwise.
about is also, um, you know, don't let coworkers or your boss bully you, Sag risings. Okay.
Mhm.
This is where you want to say, hey, I'm a valuable part of this company. I work really hard, you know? So the wounding at 0 degrees Taurus, it may be about your self-worth and feeling not valued at work. Sixth house is your work, right? Maybe
Mhm.
Taurus, the physical body, maybe you decided, hey, health, hygiene, I just got a new gym membership, Sag rising, and you're going to rebuild your body. And then maybe while you're there, you also inspire others to do the same. And then maybe you tell them how you eat. They're like, wow, you came in here and you got so much energy and you're looking good. And maybe they're worse off than you. And they're like, what are your secrets? I was going to try that Ozempic, but I'm afraid of that medicine. I'm hearing about bad results. And you're like, oh, girl, don't do that. Walk 30 minutes a day. I come in twice a week to the gym for strengthening, but I've changed my diet. I no longer eat after 6 p.m. I do more fruits and veggies. I do a lot of smoothies. If I eat meat, it's grass finished, grass raised. And I'm really feeling better. Make sense? So now let's go
Mhm.
to Capricorn rising, and we're going to take the Taurus down to the fifth house. The fifth house is our heart, our back, creativity, hobbies.
I have a question real
Yes.
quick. The chart that we're looking at, it is where the planetary periods are at right now,
No, 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 no,
universally.
no. This is at June 19th, 2026 at 6, I'm sorry, 5, was that 5:21 p.m. You see that? June 19th, this is when this Chiron enters Taurus.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Pretend it's June 18th right now, and you're like, oh, Chiron enters in tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. This is coming up in a few months.
Okay. And so when we're looking at our own chart with this, when you say look at, would you say look, are you saying where to look at, what placements to look at on your chart, or you're just saying look at what this chart is saying?
Both. But this chart is telling you the story, and then you lay it on yours. What is your rising sign again?
Um, Cancer.
So for you, Cancer's in the first house, Gemini's the 12th, Taurus will be in the 11th. So when we get there, you sit up in your chair and you really listen. But the Taurus Chiron will be in your 11th house.
Right.
Okay. So we'll get there in a little bit. So Capricorn rising, Chiron in the fifth house. Does anybody here have that? And did we have any Sag risings? So, but let's just start with the Capricorn. So Chiron Taurus will be here, right? Capricorn rising. So we do know that Pluto Aquarius, that's the major aspect here. The two like most prolific aspects that we consider is the trine to the Virgo moon and the square to the Pluto Aquarius. And that's why I was explaining it to you first. So you're kind of understanding what could be the easy flow and beneficial energy, even that sextile to the Pisces North Node, the trine to the Virgo moon, but the square to Pluto Aquarius. Okay, so for Capricorn risings, the Pluto is now in your second house of speech, how you earn money, your food, your intuition, your family savings and values and assets. So, but the Chiron is in the fifth house for Capricorn rising. So this wounding can come about your speech, your values and self-worth, about your education, about your children, specifically the first child. Maybe, your kids are like 13, 14, 15 in your throat chakra. Maybe you are not setting healthy boundaries for those kids, or maybe you're not telling them no enough, or maybe you're not helping them to join after school programs. Maybe finances are tight, and maybe the Capricorn rising is not having their kid, Mom, I want to play band. I want to join soccer. Like, sorry, baby, I just don't have the money. Right? This Chiron wounding is dealing with fifth house matters that are touching, that are affecting your heart, your child, your creativity, your self-expression, your speculative gains. Chiron wound Taurus here, maybe you get inspired to finally start your own business. We see that in the fifth house because it's not guaranteed money, it's speculative gains. Maybe you want to be a singer. Maybe you want to start up stand-up comedy. Maybe, right? Because these are things that are going to what? Activate your throat chakra to communicate with others. But the fifth house, Taurus, this goes back to the analogy I was saying to Cephas. Maybe here you're starting to make some jewelry. Maybe you're making cards like Queen Bee makes these beautiful cards that are connected to numerology and I think astrology. Maybe you start your own greeting card line, Taurus, right? Fifth house, something creative. But the wounding is as you do to help others, you heal yourself. Always keep that mantra with Chiron. As you help others, you are healing yourself around the Taurus issues, values, self-worth, money, five senses, speech, your body, your culture, creativity. Taurus is what, right? Music, art, fine art, things you collect, your possessions. These are the Taurus energies. Okay. So Capricorn risings, just be mindful of that because maybe it's time for you to start your own business or crypto day trading, Taurus money. Maybe you're like, okay, these people are talking about it. I see our financial system is collapsing. I better get a little bit of that Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, maybe some XRP. I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna watch La Portia Cooper's, class that she came to the tribe and shared. I'm gonna watch that. And I'm going to learn how to put in a little bit of my money. So I diversify. Eric's been yapping about it for like a year and a half now. Maybe I'll try it. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, wow, that helped, right? That's for Capricorn risings, Taurus, fifth house. So now we're going to go to the Aquarius risings. And for Aquarius risings, any Aquarius risings here? I don't think so. I don't meet that many Aquarius risings. I got one buddy. But so that puts the Chiron at 0 degrees here in the fourth house, right? Because we've moved the dial again, and Aquarius is on the ascendant. So that Pluto's there. So it's very much about self, the detoxification. So Chiron in the fourth house, this is your home, your emotional mind, Aquarius risings, your values, your five senses. Maybe Aquarius risings are like, I've got to get out of this concrete jungle. I need a house with a garden so I can grow my own fruits and veggies, put my feet on the grass, sit my butt down so I can connect to Gaia, Mother Earth. Maybe I start opening up my throat chakra and investigating and learning and communicating with my mother and find out about my family lineage. That could be very healing to your values and self-worth. Oh my God, I really found out I'm a Cherokee. I'm an indigenous American Indian. I was mislabeled by Jesse Jackson as an African American or black, where in the dictionary, black is the absence of what? Absence of matter or color. It has no power, right? So maybe the copper colored indigenous people are like, I want to reclaim, right, my right origin as an indigenous American Indian. That could happen for Aquarius risings. Okay. So this may be, I want to get more crystals, Taurus jewelry, crystals, gems. I want to get more crystals in my home, right? To block the EMF, have EMF protectors, right? Have the obsidian, have the moldavite. That's how Aquarius rising can deal with this. And you're healing everyone in your family and your home. The fourth house is your childhood home, your adult home, your retirement home. Any buildings and dwellings you go to, even if you move from Chicago to North Carolina or New York to Arizona, the fourth house is still always your home. It's always your mother's lineage, right? The 10th house is the father. Okay. So for Pisces risings, we're going to Taurus in the third house. Okay. So we know that we have that sextile, right, Cephas? Pisces, North Node at 1 degree, sextiling the Chiron in the third house at 0 degrees. So we've got to practice the compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy for ourselves first. First house, self. And you are a Pisces rising, so this is apropos for you. I intuitively remembered that. I referenced you, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's a Pisces rising, right? So here's that example. So, the third house is what? Reading, writing, communications, your younger siblings, your skills, your self-efforts, your social media. So if you're doing social media or talking to do you have any younger siblings, Cephas?
No, I'm the youngest of 13, but I know it's the house of communication.
Ooh, you're the youngest of 13. Okay, Cephas's mom is a saint.
Ooh,
Oh my
really?
God.
Wow.
Lord God. And
Jeez.
baby, that's
Youngest.
why that's why you're so smart and brilliant, because you soaked up the knowledge
Yeah.
of all them other 12.
Everybody.
Yeah, I saw the
And Pisces rising.
And Pisces rising. Woo, Cephas. That's
That's
deep.
gonna bring all that.
Okay. All right. Now
Cool.
I understand you, Cephas. Okay. So this Chiron here, right?
Yes, Chiron's in the third house.
So maybe this is about how you communicate with your neighbors and people in your local community, right? Maybe you are finding someone at the local cafe and they're like coming up to you and like, hey, what's that you're doing over there? That looks fascinating. And you're like sketching a self-portrait, but you're doing it with your astrological placements around it. And you're like designing this whole thing. And you're talking about like the heart, and inside the heart, right? You put like self-love, but you're like putting your sun and your Mercury and your moon. And they're like, what is that? And you're sharing the local community. Well, this helps me to remember and to heal and to remember that, the birth chart is the map of my life and the remembrance of my soul. And the more I'm connected to my astrology and numerology, it helps me to have self-worth and self-love. And it helps me to communicate with people in my local community, my cousins. There's the adult relationship with mom. You know what I mean? So the third house, and you're activating your creativity. And then they get inspired and they're like, oh my God, tell me about this numerology and astrology. And then you're like, oh, you don't know? And you're like, da 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 da. And then you help them to be creative and heal their self-worth, open up their throat chakra. And it's also healing you at the same time, because you're realizing you're performing this spiritual, imaginative, creative act of a self-portrait, Pisces, North Node, self, right? And Taurus, the sextile, you're being creative, and then you inspire others. And they're like, oh my God, can I be your best friend? You know about astrology, numerology. How did you learn that? And you start telling them things. What? And then you figure it out. You'd be like, oh, you're a life path 5. You need to, you need to express yourself creatively, and you need change, and da, da, da. Like, oh my God, like you're the best, Cephas. That's the North Node sextiling the Chiron in the third house in the local community at that cafe. And you just met Jennifer and you became her best friend and healed her life. Make sense now?
Yes.
Okay. So, so that's what I'm saying. So for Pisces risings, this could be how you create on social media. This could be in your local community where you are like, I'm only shopping at the farmer's market. That's where I go every Saturday morning to get my fruits and veggies. And you communicate with other people there. You inspire, you learn. This is activating the Chiron moon to increase your value, self-worth, right? In your local community, your communications, getting the fruits and veggies from the farmer's market, and then making connections to other, and you're inspiring because you went to the farmer's market after you were doodling at the cafe and met Jennifer. Then you went over there and you met, Maria's got a local farm and she got every fruit and veggie you ever imagined. Like, oh my God, you got purple squash? My grandma used to make that. Da 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 da, and whatever, and just all this stuff. That's the relationship with Chiron in the third house for the Pisces rising. Okay. And it's really, I hope those two things happen, Cephas.
Me too.
That sounds pretty good to me. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like fun. I wish I could.
Yeah.
Can't draw for that. Listen, if I tried to sketch a self-portrait and put like the astrological signs around it, you'd be like, Eric, what is that? You'd be like, okay, that don't look like that, baby, but okay, keep trying. So, but that's a perfect example. So now Aries risings. Okay, we're getting up to close to you soon, Robin. Any Aries risings here? I don't think so, but of course, you guys on the replay. We're dealing with the Taurus in the second house now, right? So remember, this is kind of the authentic, real chart. But remember, I also tell you guys that the ancients felt that the first house was really more connected to Cancer, not Aries, because you're born, the first house, right? You come through the portal of your mother's womb. And the time sets up at the eastern horizon of the sky. The constellation of Aries was rising in the east, or Cancer. So the ancients felt that Cancer was the original chart because you come from the mom, and then the second house, Leo, associated with the father, would traditionally go out to work. But with the Aries rising, which is what we're talking about now, Taurus in the second house, well, Taurus is about the same thing. It's not exact. This is why I don't like to teach it that way, because you can have any sign in any house. But second house is very similar to the Taurus energy, in the sense that the second house is about your speech, your food, your self-worth, money you earn, your possessions, things you collect, right? But the second house is not practical and pragmatic per se. That's Taurus, so there's nuance to it. But I just like to say that because there's differences. So you don't want to kind of sit there and memorize like, oh, the first house is only Aries, the second house is only Taurus, the third house is only Gemini. But they're in association too. So they're very similar. And hopefully that makes sense for Jackie and Robin. So with Aries rising, Taurus in the second house, some of that wounding, right, can be about, and this is in transit. So it's coming up like, I did not get to really communicate to my dad before he got Alzheimer's. And, now it's like, whatever. And, mom is starting to get sicker. So I want to start to really talk to her more, right? I want to make sure she doesn't wind up with dementia or Alzheimer's or, I'm just giving a random example. So I'm going to make sure she gets some, good burdock root, sea moss, right? The herbs. I don't want to get into the extra nuance, but it's opposed in the eighth house, which is like things hidden underground, the crystals, the herbs, the CBD, the ashwagandha, the burdock root. But the second house, Taurus, Chiron wound, I want to look out for my family. I want to figure out what am I doing with my speech that's messing up how I earn money? Am I being too passive or too aggressive at work that I'm not getting any bonuses? I feel like I'm achieving well in life, but my sister and my family still doesn't appreciate or support me. They thought I should have never been a techno DJ, but now I'm DJing all over the world, and I get 50,000 a night for when I just show up and do my DJing and with my yellow and my bright lights and spinning around. They thought I was silly and stupid, but I've proved them wrong, but I still have the wounding here. So maybe I need to open up my throat chakra and talk to my family and say, listen, you guys should be proud of me. Look at what I've done. And it's not like you're going to try to be like, oh, I'll pay you off and like, oh, look, here's some money so you could appreciate me now. But this is values and self-worth, right? Chiron wounding. So those woundings can be literally about your family, could be about the upbringing, things coming up as like parents getting older and sicker, right? So with Chiron Taurus here, right? And we got the Aries rising, so that Pisces sextiles in the 12th house. Maybe there's some dreams that you get downloads in to help you with your speech or talking to your family. And it helps the wounding. Maybe you help the family because there's a Pluto Aquarius in 11th house. You say to your older sister who got a little overweight, hey, why don't you start doing this parasite cleanse and let's eat more fruits and veggies and do a 40-day fast like Nettie and Melissa did. And then your older sister's like, you know what? You're right. I want to try something different. Second house, family, Taurus, throat chakra, eating healthy, food, speech, using your intuition to include your older sister who's a little overweight. And then there's the transformation, Pluto Aquarius. So she first was offended by it. Remember, squares can be challenging energy. Why are you always coming to me trying to tell me what to do in my life? Sis, listen, I've been feeling so much better and you've been complaining. Why don't you try this? The doctors aren't helping you. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh my God. Thank you, little brother. Thank you, little sister. You were right. Oh my God, I feel incredible. This has been the best 40 days of my life. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to eat potato chips and Doritos and drink soda again. You see? That square of Pluto and Chiron, squares are opportunities for healing and growth. 90-degree angle, second house to the 11th house, right? Remember we did that? The second house, then we go to first, that's 30 degrees. We go to the 12th, another 30 degrees. And we go to the 11th house, that's 90 degrees. And the Pluto would be here at what, 5 degrees? And the Chiron's in the second house at 0. Okay. So Aries risings, those situations can play out for you. But you want to tap into your intuition, ground in earth and nature and connect and activate and open up your throat chakra and consider eating more, right? Just like the Cephas going to the farmer's market. Well, maybe here in the second house, you're going to, the farmer's market, or maybe you're growing your own food to help your family. Taurus risings. Okay. We have Robin and Gail, right?
My birth today.
So Taurus risings, Chiron on the ascendant. Self-worth, self-love, your values, how you earn money, your speech. This is the only house of self, your ascendant, right? So for you, it's squaring the Pluto in the 10th. And so maybe you are starting to communicate or share to other people in public how you decided to do a fruit fast, become a fruitarian or a parasite cleanse. You're sharing how you've changed your body, and then it helps inspire and heal others at work, right? Pluto Aquarius, people at work are like, what'd you do? Because I told Mary that I knew you did Ozempic and you had a Botox in your face. You trying to tell me you didn't do none of that? You were just juicing for 5 months? Dag on, girl. Okay. So see the Pluto, 10th house, Chiron in the first house, you initiated something to heal yourself, but you shared it at work, so you helped heal others. At first, they were talking behind your back, jealousy or hating, Pluto, envy, jealousy, power. I know she's on those pills. And then you open up your throat chakra and share what you've been doing. And then it becomes the opportunity for growth, Aquarius, Pluto, 10th house, where your boss, all the coworkers are like, what did you do, Jackie? What happened, Robin? So that's an example, but also the self-love. Waking up every morning and do a lymphatic massage, right? Chiron's the wounded healer. So you start off each morning, you start off with the first cup of hot water, second cup of lemon water with some essential oils, then maybe your tea. Then by 10:30, 11 a.m., you have your first meal. Maybe you just have a fruit smoothie. Then you have your biggest meal between like, noon and 3, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a big lunch and I'm having salad and I put salmon or tofu or whatever in it at like 2:30. And then the sun, it's getting a little later now. The sun sets well, this time it's summer, sun setting around 7:40, 7:30, right? And you're like, I'm going to bed at like 9 or 10. So my last meal, I'm just going to have a nice little salad, or I've got this, I don't know, little chicken patty with avocado on the side. I'm going to eat that at like 6. And then I'm going to bed around 9:30, and I'm going to let my body rest and digest and heal. And you start to change your patterns, but you share it with other people. And the sextile of the Pisces North Node in the 11th house, Taurus risings, maybe you decided with your older sibling or your father's sister, your youngest aunt, right? That you're like, hey, let's do a buddy system where we hold each other accountable, and we do a 30-minute meditation in the morning and a 15 meditation at night. And we do this eating together. And then we both are like, boom, boom, boom. And we share and talk about it, and we journal about it. Okay. So Taurus risings, as you initiate, because it's the house of self, right? As you healing yourself, you're healing others, and it just goes back and forth. But, that sextile to the 11th house can include your friends over the internet. Maybe Taurus, maybe Robin and Jackie are sharing some things in the tribe, 11th house, right? Internet, groups and organizations, and you're sharing in the tribe how you transform things or how you started a new, some sort of new practice. Like, you guys, you know what I've been doing? I've been just walking barefoot outside, and my calves, my feet, and my Achilles tendon are getting the electromagnetic frequencies from Gaia Mother Earth and reflexology. It has like healed everything in my body. I only walk outside on the grass barefoot now. That's all I do, 30 minutes a day. And it's really changed a lot for me. I do meditating and toning. I sit by my tree. Eric talks about he sits by his tree. I started sitting by my tree, and I love it. Okay. So that's for, Taurus risings, Gail and Robin. Sorry, I threw Jackie in there, but she's the Cancer rising. So now we're going to go to any questions about that, though, Gail or Robin? Because remember, the first house is your aura, your physical appearance, your outer mask. So this is things that you're kind of bringing up to yourself. I've got to open up my throat chakra. I've got to, increase my self-worth, the positive affirmations, right? I've got to decide on how I'm going to invest or spend my money. Because it's on you. It's the house of self. Okay. Gemini.
Yes, I would agree to focus on myself, but all that other stuff, nope.
That's okay. Well, you're retired now, so you're not going to deal with the 10th house or whatever, but you could just be sitting outside in the park, and you've got a container with you, and then somebody just says, hey, could I sit on this bench with you? And da-da-da. And like, oh, how you doing today? And you're sitting out there, and they're just like, oh, I'm going through a rough time, and I've been having this, and that. And then you just say to them, well, have you ever done a parasite cleanse or a fast?
Mm.
And they're like, no, what's that? And you're like, oh my God, well, you can go to different markets, and they've got mugwort and wormwood and black seed oil and oregano oil and this and that, but they also have them in capsules. And you could do like a 7 or 10-day parasite cleanse. And they're like, really? Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to search that up, and I'm going to go to the market, or I'm going to go to the store, go to Sprouts, or go to this store, and I'm going to try that. Thank you so much. But it's because you were doing something. You were sitting outside on a park bench, right? 10th house out in public or something like that, and squaring Pluto. And you tell them about the detoxification that you did in your body. And they're like, thank you very much. I never thought about that. I've never
Well,
heard that.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. That happens often, and people are always seeking advice. And I try to discourage people from loving their doctor so much and wanting to be on medication instead of trying
Thank
some
you.
natural route.
Thank you. We are so caught up in their system that we don't
They
even realize.
love it.
I know it's crazy. And it's unfortunate because tend to find this more, um, you know, I can't generalize it, but a lot of people, are very connected to, what did the experts say? But we have to realize
Right.
they're not experts. We have
Right. They're
this
liars.
false identity of because of the programming in our subconscious mind, who's the authority, who's the expert? Well, the truth is coming out, and we're realizing these are not the experts. They've been pretending. They're playing the role of experts, but that doesn't mean they are. You know what I mean? And everybody's got their own medical horror story. I can't find, I don't know if I found one person that has been like, oh my God, Western medicine has done me right my entire life and they're the best ever. You can't find
Right.
it, because it doesn't exist. So, but that's important. So let's go to Gemini risings. We got Quintella here. I don't know if we have any others, but with Gemini rising, now we're dealing with the 12th house. So this is about the dreams, the subconscious mind, getting those Taurus crystals that I talk about, one under the pillow, right? Like the lapis lazuli here, one next to your hip and thigh. Speaking positively to yourself about yourself and manifesting for your dreams, bringing out your hidden talent. Open up that throat chakra and be like, I'm actually a really good painter or designer. I can sew like nobody's business. I'm really good with balancing a budget or, being practical and prudent about my investments and finances. I actually learned how to get into the Chinese stock market in foreign lands. We're talking about 12th house here, and invest in Japan and Chinese stocks. I did the research and I learned that, right? This is, I created this dream book that Eric told me about, and oh my God, I am getting so many downloads from my higher self, my ancestors, my spirit guides, and now it's helping me in my everyday daily life, right? I don't eat in the bedroom anymore. And now I'm sharing this with other people. My hidden talent is to open up my throat chakra to help improve other people's self-worth. You are amazing. God is within you, right? 12th house, hidden talents. You bring that out. You healed yourself, share with other people, teach them how to tap in and get those Taurus crystals. Girl, you're a Gemini rising? Me too. Oh, you don't know what that means? Oh my God. Well, you need to do this in your bedroom. You need to da-da-da-da-da. You need to get organic cotton and linen sheets. Your pajamas should be organic cotton and linen. You sleeping in polyester, girl? Ooh, that's not good. Your bed sheets are what? No. That's low vibration. That's going to affect your health and your body. Gemini rising, especially Uranus. You see that Uranus, it's going to be on your ascendant. You're going to have so many downloads. That 12th house Chiron wound, you're going to be like, I got this sucker. Okay? It's going to be on and popping, but you're going to be able to heal others through the subconscious mind and just the contemplation in the bedroom. The 12th house is your bedroom, your dreams, your fantasies, your hidden talents, your subconscious mind, foreign lands, import, export. You connected with Alibaba and then you started selling crystal something doodads, right? People are getting into these ancestral altars. I tell you guys all the time, this spirituality, astrology, tarot, human design, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry now. Pluto in Aquarius to 2044, it's only going to grow more and more as people awaken. Your friend right now that still reads the New York Times, CNN, Fox, Wall Street Journal, ABC, NBC, that's all up, nothing's wrong. We just need to vote Trump out and everything will be okay. And da-da-da-da-da. And this midterm election is da-da-da-da-da. And yes, some of that stuff is important. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's one person in DC that probably shouldn't be in prison, Democrat or Republican, right? They've all been bought and paid for, unfortunately, by foreign lands, foreign governments, you know, reptilians, Anunnakis, the 13 secret families. So, the whole system is broken. And so, Gemini rising, you may be able to be like, you know what? Listen, this is what you got to be focused on. Oh, you don't meditate? Da, 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 da. You don't say prayers at night or gratitude in the morning when you first wake up, get out of bed? Oh, don't say good morning. You're not morning anything. Change your vocabulary. Grand rising. English language is the lowest vibrational language, and it's spelling, casting spells on yourself, right? You work the whole week because you're getting the week end of the deal on the weekend, right? A job just over broke? No, you want freedom, right? You want love, so all these different things, whatever, right? So now the Cancer risings. Okay, we have Jackie. The Taurus is now in your 11th house. The 11th house is your hopes, dreams, and wishes, philanthropic work, nonprofit, environmental, organizations, groups, the internet, your father's siblings, your older sibling, stepchildren, right? This is gold, wild exotic animals. Well, Taurus here, maybe you're like, you know what? I want to get my own land, and I'm going to get like some, farms. And, I did the research. Did you know eggs from a duck are more nutrient and healing with more protein and healthy cholesterol than chicken eggs? I only eat duck eggs now. And I'm like, oh, Jackie, that sounds weird. You're like, yeah, but listen to this research. And it cleared up my skin. I have no more joint pain. I'm feeling and flying high. I started to help my older sibling, and together we started a program where, we invest, like just $10 a week. And it's been growing. In the last 3 months, all this stuff happened. We bought some gold. We did some long-term investments. And I just got a little bit of crypto just to be in it. I'm a little still afraid, Eric, but, so these types of things can play out. But also, just like I said in the intro, this Chiron wound here, maybe you are joining a nonprofit to help out at the local farm. And then you're sharing videos on YouTube about it and sharing how you have, you go from the farm to the kitchen table and how you've changed your own health and life. But your speech, Taurus, Chiron wound, you opened up your throat chakra to then help heal your father's 3 sisters and your older brother or your older sister. And you're a part of this organization now. And then you share it over the internet on YouTube or Facebook. Okay. And Pluto Aquarius is in the 8th house. So you got involved also with, I keep crystals with me in my purse all the time now. I've gotten into the research. I learned about burdock root and silogite and wormwood, and I have a sea moss smoothie every day now. That stuff helps and it works. 8th house Pluto, things hidden underground, crystals, gems, herbs, ancient oils. Oh my God, I use essential oils now. They are so beneficial. I just have the little machine, and I forgot what they call them, but it sprays out the lavender at night. I sleep like a newborn baby. Okay. And I have my Gemini crystals, 12th house, in my pillow under the bed. Uranus here, right? I told you, Jackie, Uranus here, your dreams. You'll be getting downloads. You may become like the dream interpreter for the tribe. Everybody's gonna be like, Jackie, what does this dream mean? Uranus and Gemini, 12th house. You'll be like, yeah. Your mother wants you to start eating apples. Remember that old thing? Your mom used to sing the song, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, da 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 da, whatever. So, these are the things that can play out with Chiron, the wounded healer, in the 11th house for a Cancer rising at 0 degrees. And your self-worth increases because you're speaking your truth over YouTube, but you're helping your family and you're connected to this nonprofit and taking farm food to the kitchen table, and it's just all reciprocal. You're healing yourself, your auntie, your older brother, and you just feel amazing. And you're investing in multiple things, in gold, long-term investments, and a little bit of crypto, which ironically, 11th house, we always look at the opposite house. 5th house, day trading or crypto. Okay. So that's really beautiful for the Cancer risings. Okay. Now, Leo risings. I don't know if we have any here, maybe on the replay. Chiron's in the 10th house. This Venus is on the ascendant. So whatever you do, you're going to be looking good doing it, right? Venus on the ascendant. Leo, you already know Leo risings. They're like, look at me, right? Dynamic. Venus is there. You're like, man, I go to work. I come in and people are like, what is this? What is this dude eating today? Right? He's got asparagus, apples, blueberries, 3 peaches, a pineapple, and squash. That's your lunch? Like, heck yeah, that's what I eat. You don't have any protein, any meat. That's a lie. The food pyramid, all that's a lie. You don't, they've over promoted protein. You don't need tofu or salmon or chicken or beef, right? We're electromagnetic beings. I go out there. I never see you at lunch break. Where are you? Where'd you go, Michael? Oh, I spent my 45-minute lunch break. I ate, and then I just was chilling out, in the grass or, out in the sun for the rest of the 30 minutes. That's what I do every day. I get the sun. I don't want to stay in this office the whole time. I get the sun. We're electromagnetic beings, right? Or batteries. I get charged up. I put my palms up to the sun. These are conductors. It brings in the melanin. Before I leave my house in the morning, I go out and I sun gaze, right? 10th house. I'm out in the public. I'm outside. The young kids say, yo, I'm outside, son, right? I'm outside. Taurus rising. That's why that Venus Leo, I got this glow on my face because I'm always connected to the sun. They lied and told you the sun causes cancer and this and that. The sun brings life. It's vitality. It's the most healing thing on our planet. Without the sun, we'd be dead. Chiron 10th house. And I've been telling my dad about it. He goes for a walk every day, 1:30, clockwork. Out in the sun. Taurus, Chiron, Leo rising, 10th house. So that Pluto is now in the 7th house. I tried to tell my wife about it or my business partner about it, and they were like, oh, you're crazy. You're just doing that weird spiritual woohoo stuff. But then they started to see the differences. And now they're copying me and asking me for my schedule and how I do everything. My coworkers have been watching me and they see the transformation in my life. Now I'm starting to communicate and share about it. My self-worth is improved and I'm helping them to do the same. The other half, Pluto, Aquarius, 7th house, right? Chiron's in the 10th house. Pluto's here now in the 7th house. Aquarius, I'm helping to transform my coworker's life, my spouse. I just went to go get a new cell phone from T-Mobile, and the young girl there was like, what are you doing? Your hair and your nails, right? Looks so good. Your skin, 10th house, fingernails and skin. It looks so good. What are you doing? Well, I'm just eating, everything from the farmer's market. And Taurus, throat chakra. I speak positively to myself about myself every day. Positive affirmations. I speak that my body is healed. My body is healthy. My hair, skin, and fingernails are glowing and healthy. I speak it so the frequencies of vibrations come around me every day. I get in the mirror and I brush my teeth with my opposite hands and I speak the positive affirmations. Yeah, this weird guy, BigEAstro, told me about that and it works.
Eric, you're Leo rising?
No, I'm so sorry. No, I'm Scorpio, remember? And Scorpio.
Okay. I
was just using the reference of the Leo. Yeah.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
know some Leo risings though. But
Oh, yeah, my daughter.
Because of all this hair, people think I'm a Leo.
Yeah, I could see why they would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You'll notice, even if you did a Google search or watch my Leo rising video and I mentioned some of the celebrities, you'll see if they don't have the hair, it could be a man with a baldy. but he's got this feline lion look.
Mm-hmm.
The nose or the forehead's coming out you. It's a very distinct. You'll see it. Like it's
Right.
so funny when you start to pay attention to the rising signs.
Yep.
You start to see it on people. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oops,
For
yeah."
sure.
It's really kind of cool. But so that was just an example for them. But that's really beneficial when you think about that, right? You're outside in the public for your career and you're showing people that example of how you're healing the wound for yourself, but you're also healing others. And it becomes reciprocal, right? As you heal others, you're healing yourself. You heal yourself, you're going to heal others. Because people, especially in these angular houses, it's affecting other people in your life. I mean, really every house it is. But the first house, we're going to see it on you and Gail. We're going to see your aura, like, oh my God, Robin, your aura is glowing. What have you been doing? Right? The 10th house, they're going to see you transform at work. The fourth house, the family will see you change. The seventh house, they'll see you when you go shopping and you're at T-Mobile or your business partner or your spouse, or when you're just going to go get in the store fruits. And the guy at the supermarket. Every time I see you come in here, you always get in that big glass spring water bottle, and all you get is fruits and veggies. Every once in a while, I see you with like a real nice organic bread, but all you buy is fruits and veggies. Is that all you eat? And you're like, yeah. That's all, I come to the market, I normally go to farmer's market, but when I come to grocery store, I'm getting accessories, but I'm always getting like healthy stuff. And they're like, I noticed that. Wow, you look great. Okay. So as we deal with the Chiron wound and it's both. It's not like you're doing one without the other. When you are initiating the healing for your self-worth, your values, your finances, your speech, your food, it's also going to reflect back to others. And then that also heals you more because you become the wounded healer. The wounding is an emotional, physical, or spiritual. The 10th house, your dad could have died early from working so many hours and he had the worst diet and he drank 3 cups of black coffee a day and this nasty big old pot roast that was like the cheapest meat that they could find in the supermarket because they couldn't afford anything grass finished, grass fed. And he wound up dying of stomach cancer. 10th house, father, exhausted, overworked. And you're like, I gotta break this. I gotta change my family values, increase my self-worth, and do something differently from my father. Chiron wound 10th house. Change how you work. You're going outside for your break, getting the sun. You're eating healthy. You see what I'm saying? That's Chiron 10th house. Leo risings. So now Virgo risings, we're in the 9th house, this Chiron moon. The moon's on your ascendant. So when the moon's on the ascendant, people are going to be coming to you, asking you advice. Your emotions are on your sleeve. But the Virgo rising, you're going to be very precise, nitpicky, detailed, right? You don't want to be overly critical of yourself or others. But with this Chiron moon in the 9th house, this wounding is going to be around your father's teachings, your wisdom, beliefs, philosophies, higher learning, the guru, the shaman. Maybe you met a health guru. Well, Eric told me about fruitarians and I remember Brandon put something in the tribe, but then it didn't work out. He was going to have a guest on his podcast, but nothing happened with it. But I found a fruitarian and it's changed my whole beliefs and philosophies. I, I just do fruits and nuts every day. I don't even eat veggies anymore. I like collard greens, so I do it at New Year's and a couple times a year. But besides that, I'm just doing fruits and nuts. 9th house, Chiron. And I decided now I'm going to write a book about it. The philosophy of fruit. Right? And this Virgo moon, the trine, it was just so natural and so easy. I got all the information. I've got a couple of quotes from some nutrition and health experts. I've changed my life. I'm like this and that, and I'm gonna write a little book about it. Virgo moon, first house of self, body health, intuition. Virgo rules the gut. The ninth house, I go for a walk every day, activate my hips and thighs, ninth house. But I changed my beliefs and philosophies and now writing a book about it. I'm going to become a nutritionist and a health guru. I went back and got a certification in nutrition. I'm going to become a health coach. I go for a 30-minute walk every day, moving my hips and thighs, Chiron Taurus, and my philosophy, my book and my philosophy is all about fruit and nuts. Okay. For the Virgo risings. And then guess what? This Pluto is squaring the Chiron in the ninth. The Pluto now in Aquarius is in the sixth house. I've transformed. Why is this not moving? I transformed my sorry. Oh God, did my mouse die? I transformed my body and my health. And I also did like a little parasite cleanse. Sorry, mouse battery must have died. So, that's Virgo. I mean, that's Taurus, ninth house, Chiron. Now you're healing the family values. My father's teaching, my dad always told me, you want to be strong, you're going to drink that milk from the cow. Oh, so what? You got a little mucus and a sniffle. That's all right. Don't you want to be strong? Milk does the body good. You didn't see the commercials? They've been talking about that since the 40s. You know what, Dad? I realized that dairy and milk, it kind of belongs to a baby calf, right? Chickens don't go to goats. Dogs don't go to lizards. Elephants don't go to bears. Why would I go to a cow? I only get milk from my mother, right? No species goes to another species to get its milk that's for its baby. That's illogical. So I stopped doing it. That's no longer my belief, what you taught me, Dad. Make sense? Chiron, ninth house. And then you could write a book about ninth house's publishing. You start traveling 50 miles or further away from home and you go on a little book tour. Or you start working, and ninth house is also the mentor. You start mentoring people about the nutrition, how to heal your eating habits, or how to heal your body, how to increase your self-worth through food. So it's very informative when you connect the Chiron, the Taurus, and the house. So for the Virgo rising, a lot of those things can play out, And because it's the ninth house of publishing, you could write a book about it and benefit so many other people. So you are healing your wound by becoming the wounded healer. Okay. So sorry. So Pluto sixth house, right? Just I had to plug in and give the mouse some juice. So now Libra risings. So we're going to Taurus in the eighth house. I don't know if we have any Libra risings here on the replay, but the Chiron wound in the eighth house, this is about power, control, sex, abuse, manipulation, your partner's resources, other people's money, inheritance. So you're talking about Taurus, which is associated with the second house. It's already talking about money, values and self-worth, crystals, jewelry, gems. In the eighth house, we get into the esoteric occult knowledge. We get into ancient oils like doTERRA. We get into crystals, gems, minerals, herbs. So the Chiron wound here is like, you know what? I am always with my crystals. I use the doTERRA oils, ancient oils. I've been only drinking sour sop and this type of tea and this, and I do the ashwagandha and the silogite and burdock root, and oh man, I am now becoming the herbalist, but it is benefiting me, and I'm also helping out my spouse. We've been married for 10 years now, and I've just watched him get a little, what they call it, the dad bod, and a little pot belly, and kids are getting ready to leave the house, and I decided to start doing this and that. And, my husband got inspired because he's seeing me with my crystals. He's seeing me, with the fruits and veggies, but he's seeing me change my self-worth. My energy is vibrating differently. I'm feeling so empowered, and I'm grounding into nature now. And I can speak about it. I'm talking about the magic of crystals. No, they're not a sin. Crystals are in our smartphones, our televisions, our computers. Your Rolex watch has a crystal in it, right? So why can't I hold a crystal that God made to improve my own body and health? Okay. And so we started at Scorpio rising. So that's it. So it's perfect timing, but I want to go through with any of you guys. Do you have any questions about your particular house? Jackie, that 11th house, which I explained, or Quintella, your 12th, or C. Fisher, third, or Robin or Gail, your first. Right?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, and it could have just been me, but it sounded like you gave all positive things, and I was looking for the actual wounding that could come up with the 12th house, and I got lost.
Okay, so I'm talking about the healing, definitely.
Okay,
Wounding is in the bedroom,
okay,
overindulging and eating in the food.
okay,
Taurus, it could be overindulging in the physical body, the sex, the sensuality. It could be um, you're glowing and you're all positive, at the tribe, at coffee talk, out in the world. And when you get home and retreat back to your bedroom, your self-worth is terrible. You talk bad and ill about Quintella. You have such self-doubt, right? You're kind of like, oh, I'm never going to get any money. I'm never going to improve my health and stuff like that. And so this is where we have to change those routines. The wounding is always for Taurus going to be about our self-worth, our values, our speech, our body, our five senses, and our money.
okay. So it could bring up, because, oh, geez,
Yeah.
I've worked so hard to get to the point where I'm at now. So it could bring up some things around that area, just kind of like
You,
a review to see and make sure that I've healed from them.
yes. And what's
Okay,
good about the transit, it shows you what has not been really healed yet.
got it.
When it came to Aries, because this can happen. So for me in the sixth house, how am I asserting myself in my daily routine? Am I being too assertive and aggressive and too independent? Or am I learning that I can't do it all alone? Scorpio rising, Aries, Chiron wound sixth house, right? I'm a very independent person, but I realize like, okay, you can't do everything all the time by yourself. You will burn yourself out. So sometimes with the wound, I'm just using Aries because we're in it now. Sometimes you could over initiate, and sometimes you are not stepping up and becoming the brave, courageous leader. You're letting people, right? You can't ever get the work done. You're not a leader. You're not this and that. So with Taurus, right, it could be like, oh, your self-worth, your body, your speech is just very bad and negative. Right. But so then how could you balance that? You start to in the bedroom, do the positive affirmations when you go to bed at night with your dreams. You start writing and communicating in your dream journal. You get those Taurus crystals, the blue crystals, and put them in your under your pillow and in the bed. Right. You're changing your values. Right. There's no eating in the bedroom now. Right. You're doing creative things. Maybe you start sewing or you're making the cardology and numerology jewelry, or different things or t-shirts. But you're taking the wounding and the negative of the Taurus,
Hmm.
and then you're increasing it to the positive. But it's the 12th house, so it's hidden talents. You have to share it with the rest of the world.
Got it. Okay, so now that makes sense, everything that's been coming up. Because for me, self-doubt is big.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, it still is. And then finances. I know when my finances get low, I get, mm. And then
No,
everything that's been happening since we had to make this unexpected move has
no,
hit
it's
my finances took a hit and I'm still trying to
I
recover.
I know, and it's okay because what you have to realize, this wounding, this Chiron coming back up on June 19th is to let you know that you've got this, but you can't keep these talents, these Taurus talents hidden in private anymore. You've got to open up your throat chakra because that's going to give you more money. You've got to increase your values and self-worth because it's going to give you more money. You have to, Taurus, tap into your senses, right? And when Uranus comes April 25th, you're going to be like, you're going to have 8 senses. You know, they're going to have the ethereal spiritual ones. The downloads will be pouring in for Gemini risings, right? So this is where all that is going to shift. So just know that that move and the finances, that's temporary. And so when Chiron comes in this transit, you'll recalibrate and kind of patch up these couple of wounds on your body. But then you got to then extend it out and show the healing and the testimony through your speech and self-worth to others, because that will increase your finances, but it also makes you the wounded healer to help others.
Okay, that makes sense.
So don't get caught up. Like the finances, don't even speak about it anymore. Your finances are great.
Yes, that's what I've been doing because I
Yes.
don't even know how this move would have been possible. When I tell you people came to help,
Yeah.
and I was just so grateful. This house, this is my uncle's wife house, and it wasn't ready before we moved to Florida. And all of a sudden now it's ready for us to move. I didn't know where we were going to live.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my, so
The,
it's
un-
helped me
the universe
be a
has you.
lot more optimistic when it comes to finances and know that
Yeah.
whatever I need, it'll always be there.
And these need to become our daily mantras. Taurus, throat chakra, our speech. Life, things happen for you, not to you. You're not a victim in the 3D or the 5D. 12th house, subconscious programming, the rote memory. Are you righty or lefty?
I'm a righty.
Yeah, the left hand. Every morning and night, you brush your teeth, wash your face. Everything happens for me. I have all the abundance and finances. I'm an amazing mother. I'm an amazing sister, daughter, granddaughter. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
you speak it, right? As you're brushing your teeth, get out of the subconscious programming, brush your teeth with the opposite hand every morning. There's the bedroom, right? We tend to, our bathrooms are like adjacent or next to the bedroom, right? So that's a 12th house experience. When you brush your teeth at night and in the morning and wash your face, the Taurus, self-worth, Chiron, activate the throat chakra. I am healed. I am a great mom. I am a great worker. I am a great intuitive reader. I am, you know what I mean? I thank you for all the financial blessings. Thank you for this new home. You know what I mean? The gratitude. Remember, we never tell the universe that we want because that's a spirit of lack. If you're wanting, it means you don't have. So then the universe continues you not having.
Okay. I'll have to try that again. I tried to brush my teeth
No,
with the
no, do it
so
because you know what
hard.
no, I know it's hard, but guess what it does? Because I know when I do it, it trips me out. Remember, we only use our conscious mind 8 to 10% of the day. The majority of us, all of us here, if we're being honest, we know we can wake up in the morning with our eyes closed and do our basic routine. Yeah, you may bump into something, but you know you're on autopilot. It's your rote memory. That's the subconscious programming that we've had since we really came out the womb. Right? You're born totally healthy. Why do you need to be shot up with all these like needles, and you've been living for 2 hours?
Right.
But this is the programming that we've been taught. You're born into a world where green is go and red is stop. What if you wanted purple to be go and yellow to stop? I don't resonate with those colors. Right? But that's what I'm saying. So this is the subconscious programming. So we've got to create and manifest our new existence and reality with our positive thoughts and intention. You may be too young for this, but I know, Robin and Gail, you guys remember Gomer Pyle? Oh, shucks, right? He was just so happy and positive. Today's a good day, Sheriff. I forgot, what was that, Andy Griffith, right? Oh, shucks, Gomer Pyle. Honestly, I'm like, that's my mantra in my head. I'm like, I need to be, oh, shucks, today's a great day. The sun shine,
Yeah.
right? Every day, because it works, you guys. Even if we fake it till we make it, positive thoughts, positive thinking, no gossiping. Let me tell you, Uranus is coming to Gemini, especially Quintella or any Gemini risings. You got to watch out for that. Uranus and Gemini can increase just like Jupiter did, not just podcasting and technology and all the clairs. It can increase gossiping out of nowhere. Suddenly, you talking smack about the next person. Like, oh, I don't know why Kendra did that, and she was supposed to give me the plate set of dishes. She said she's gonna mail it to me. She didn't, and I'm just using that as a weird example,
I
but
know.
you know what I'm saying, right? But like
Mhm.
that's something that your subconscious mind, when you gossip and talk smack about other people, your brain only thinks you're talking about you.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it doesn't know who Jennifer and Tiffany are. The brain is like, ooh, Quintella is giving herself the business.
Right.
Right. So we have to, that's why they say, right, you got two eyes and one mouth. Zip it. Only speak the Gomer Pyle. Oh, shucks. I love today. The sun is shining and today's $1 million day.
I've been doing that with work. Like all of my customers are going to be awesome. No one's going to
Yeah,
argue with, and it's been working.
it does. That's what's so scary, you guys. Like when we get these cheat codes, we gotta use them, but believe them. Knowledge is love. I didn't name it that for a This is the eism I came up with like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it works, right? I manifested my twins. I manifested my wife. Like the positive intention and just sitting in the greatest gift you can give to yourself is introspection. Like taking the flashlight and the mirror and looking inside and be like, ooh, like it tripped me out that I had to go back. It's just after I became a born again Christian, but I had to go back and talk to 6-year-old Eric and forgive my father. He was murdered, but in my head, I kind of like felt like he abandoned us and left us and just whatever. But grown Eric, I know better. But that's what the 6-year-old was still thinking in his head and holding on to him. So I did an altar call one night, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like crying for 30 minutes, snot on the shirt. And I mean, I was a hot mess. But I realized I had to go back and forgive my father for being murdered. That's heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so don't think that you're a finished work. I told you I went to this spiritual reader. The minute I got there, she said, "What happened to you at 7 years old?" She would intuitively pick out like she said on the cellular, your body wants to heal itself on the cellular level. The cells hold memory. And she said my cells spoke to her and told her what happened at 7 and 15. I'm, doing all this work for 6 years old and 9 years old, my Chiron wound. Well, at 7, my mother was shot in the head by my uncle and left for dead, and she survived and made it. And the big wounding was the adults at the time, my stepfather, my step grandmother, they didn't know if my mother was going to survive. So they said, my sister and I should go to the hospital and see my mom. And they were probably right. But for a 7-year-old boy to see his mother with bandages on her head in the hospital and she couldn't even talk, she almost like seemed like some like monster. I was scared to death and never liked hospitals and was worried about like, I honestly I can't remember age 7. My mother took a year off of work, did rehab, was on sabbatical from teaching, and then the next year went back to teach for another 20 some odd years. I don't remember really anything about that time period. It's a block. And I got a cat moon. I remember everything. So I still got to heal with that. I've forgiven. I even forgave my uncle. But I just say this to share with you guys that we're never a finished work. Keep taking the flashlight and the mirror and looking inside. Look at your kidney, look at your heart, look at ooh, what's that in your liver? Ooh, girl, you holding some stuff that like seriously, like introspection will save your life.
I think
And
that's my favorite thing.
yeah, no, but see, I will tell you this. Your Aquarius sun doesn't like that, but your Pisces moon needs it.
So it must be my Pisces moon because I love introspect. That's all I've done
Well,
my
I'm
entire
going to give
life.
you guys the cheat code. Fire and air signs, masculine. They're action orientated, initiating. They don't naturally stop and go within and are introspective. That's a little harder for fire and air. Now, don't come at me and say, well, I'm a fire sign, I'm an air sign, and I'd love to do it, but it may be other placements. It may
Right.
not be your sun sign. Like for Robin, Aries sun. Aries sun ain't got no time for introspection. Aries is like, get out my way. I'm achieving, I'm doing. But your Taurus moon, ooh, you can ground into such beautiful. Plus, you had that amazing Pisces mother, Robin, I know. But with your Taurus moon, you can really get in and do deep, like emotionally stay. When I tell you Cancer moon is great because it feels everything. People think sensitivity is a bad word. No, it means you're sensitive to energy, frequency, vibration, and energies. But the Taurus moon, it's like I think it's one of the best placements in astrology, to be honest, because the Taurus moon is so emotionally stable and solid. You could go to Robin probably with any problem, and she's just gonna be like, "Hey, that's okay. I got you. Let's talk it out. Let's cry. Let's, whatever it is, you can send me a text, and whatever you know what I mean? It's just very practical, calm, patient, emotionally still and grounded. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's what I want you guys. Now, does anybody else, before we end, have like Jackie or Robin or Cephas, any other questions about the Chiron wounding in terms of your particular house? Or Melissa, anybody? And remember,
No.
go ahead. Go ahead.
But does it just only affect like the rising sign, not the, I'm sorry, the ascendant? No,
No,
just the rising.
okay, so the Pisces ascendant is just to let you know where the Chiron and Taurus is at. But because your Chiron is 0 degrees in the third house, is sextiling this Pisces North node on your ascendant, right?
Mhm.
At 1 degrees, sextiling the 0 degrees Chiron, it's letting you know that what's going to help you with your speech and communications is that the North Node, it's an energy that's foreign to us. It's a purpose, a destiny, right? We're being pushed towards the Pisces energy at this time, the whole collective, right? Which is why I say increase the spiritual discipline and practices. Practice what? More compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy for you, for Cephas first, then to others, right? You know that all you fill your cup up, then you got enough
Mhm.
to pour out to help others.
Yes,
Right. I know 2 or 3 of those 13, 12 siblings are like, Cephas, help me, da, da, da. Right.
exactly.
You the baby. They reach it out to you. So you've got to pour into your cup first. Then you could take care of these siblings in the third house or your neighbors. You may have one neighbor that's always like, "Oh, Cephas, you don't know what heck. Can you drive me to the bank? I got a flat tire again." Right.
Mhm.
It's because you have this Pisces North Node sextile and this Chiron, you're going to have and hold the container of compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy and unconditional love for yourself and then for others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely does.
Yeah. And so make sure, even from now leading up to it, even if you could do it each day a little bit more, let's say tomorrow, you can only meditate for 10 minutes. You're busy. You're this and that. You're on the go Sunday. Well, maybe Monday you take a little extra time and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do 20 minutes today. I'm going to do some breath work, some toning. I'm going to speak in tongues. I'm going to just be like, God, just hold me, help me, da da da. I got this one sister that keeps reaching out and she's like, da 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 da. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But what are you doing? You're being toxic, right? You are going to find that the more you increase your spiritual practice, it gives you much more in your container to then help the emotional, physical, and spiritual wounds of others.
Okay.
This is the
And
beautiful, beautiful sextile, but this isn't just for Cephas. This is for all of us. It just so happens for him, it's very purposeful because it's the first house where the North Node is on his ascendant. For Melissa and I, it's still powerful. It's in the fifth house. So this is around our kids, our heart chakra, our creativity, our hobbies, right? I can help Alana, Chiron Taurus, she's the Taurus rising, right? By creatively being more in my imagination, my spirituality, my creativity, more compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy. I can help the Chiron, the other half, and be like, baby, you know what? You don't need to buy that. You're spending too much going shopping. Let's just, we don't need that right now. So what, the kids love to have steak. They don't need filet mignon. Listen, they're going to have to eat a little bit more like mom and dad at this time. Let's just go to farmer's market and get more fruits and veggies. Maybe next month when money's not as tight, we go ahead and get them some big flank steaks or some whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? Just to give you a random example. But see, children, fifth house, seventh house, the wife, I was being compassionate, empathetic, and letting her know, don't feel guilty for bringing the food, seventh house, kitchen, right? For the fifth house kids, let's save our finances, speech, money, Chiron, right? Emotions, just, oh, I feel guilty. I got to get the kids. No, let's just breathe and meditate together. The kids will be okay. They don't need steak this month. We got so many bills to pay. We got to get out of debt, right? Then get steak next month. You see what I'm saying? So that's the fifth house, seventh house. Melissa could have the same thing. Maybe she's got to say something to her daughter about this and that or whatever. But what's important is that this chart is really communicating to all of us that the Chiron has got spiritual support and compassion and empathy from this Pisces North Node. And then it also has very emotional, positive support from the Virgo moon, the trine, right? This Virgo moon wants you to be of service to others. Trine and Chiron, you're helping to heal others' wounds, which also heals you. This Virgo moon is a powerful piece of this chart because the Virgo moon is intuitive about its service to humanity. The best nurses have Virgo moons. Maybe the best accountants have a Virgo moon. Your favorite EMS driver could have a Virgo moon. May have an Aries moon though, but emergencies, you know what I mean? But I just want you guys to get that the Chiron wound in transit may bring up some things that you haven't healed yet around your body, your speech, your food, your self-worth, your values, your five senses. You may be like, I need veneers. I got to get these teeth fixed. You're like, oh, I got to go to Sabale Pure and get that tongue scraper and get her healthy mouth kit. You see what I'm saying? So
you say how long is this transit? June 19th into
okay,
when?
so this one is going to be June 19th to I think September 17th. Then it comes back in April for 6 years, 2027 to 2033. So we're going to do this again next March or April with a different perspective and chart, but the same themes. And the reason why I wanted to do this one is because this is such a profound shift because we've been in Chiron Aries for so long. You're going to feel this for those few months. This will be the summer of self-worth, money, and values of woundings that come up. So summertime, we normally want to eat lighter anyway, right? It's so hot. You don't want all this heavy potatoes and beef every day. You're like, oh my God, I feel so gluttonous and heavy. You're out in the goal. You're out in the sun. You got more daylight. You're like, oh, I want some pineapple. Oh, I want watermelon.
Fruit.
Right?
Yeah.
You want more fruit. The Virgo moon trining the Chiron, it's here to kind of tell you, don't forget that. This is better for you. But this will build up muscle memory for the 6-year transit starting April 2027. Right? It's lasts longer in Aries than Taurus than any other signs, the Chiron. So the transits, no matter where your natal place, you could have Chiron in Pisces, Chiron in Sag, Virgo. That doesn't matter. But you do want to see if this transiting Chiron is aspecting yours. So what you can do is shoot me an email afterwards and say, Eric, my Chiron is in Leo at 2 degrees. It's squaring this Chiron Taurus. You may not know. You could just tell me it's at this placement and it's squaring. What should I do? What does that mean? And I'll be like, oh my God. Okay. let's say you're Jackie, you're the Cancer rising, right? And that her natal Chiron, I'm not saying it is, but it could be in Leo's second house, right? And you know that Leo's second house, she's a Cancer rising, 12th house of Gemini, Taurus 11th, second to 12th is the square, right? So I would say, oh, Jackie, listen, there's going to be things that may come up around your older siblings, around your hopes, dreams, and wishes, around you activating your throat chakra and speaking and communicating about your podcast over the internet, no matter what your family may think. Maybe it's an ex-husband, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your son that's like, you sure you want to get out there and talk about that and da 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 da? And you're like, no, I'm activating my throat chakra. My self-worth and my values are good. I am speaking my authentic truth over the internet, and I'm going to talk about my journey of eating better and investing my money and doing yada yada yada. And it may be beneficial square. It could be discomfort, and people are like, oh, you sure you shouldn't? And maybe don't do that. But then the emotional physical wounds that you heal for yourself, you tend to help your older sibling. And then all of a sudden your son and your ex-husband or whatever, they're like, wow, Jackie, you're doing a great job. You know, what should I do to like kind of speak my authentic truth? Or where are you getting those fruits and vegetables again? What'd you say about sea moss? I never heard of sea moss. What's that? It has how many nutrients that the body needs? Yeah. So look at, and you can reach out to me and just shoot me an email. I'll give you the answer. Where your natal Chiron is in relation to this transit of Chiron 0 degrees. It's not affecting Melissa's in Gemini in the 8th house, and it's not affecting Eric's in Aries in the 6th house, right? Those are like semi-sextiles, but it's not, it's not a whatever, but it's still going to be very big for Melissa and I because it's in our 7th house of us with our partners or in the kitchen or relate, you know what I mean? I mean, it's really saying like, hey, Dodo, right? Take care of yourself in the kitchen, eat some more fruits and veggies, right? Pray and speak lovingly over your food. Manifest intentions, right? When you drink your water, talk to your water. Thank you, water, for healing my body and hydrating me. Right? Chiron 7th house. That's the kitchen. Okay. So I hope this was really helpful and informative. And I love Jackie, Cephas, and Robin, and just all of you guys. There are no silly or bad questions. And this is what it's about. I want you guys to learn. That's what Coffee Talk is about. And I hope you guys, consider taking the course. It can really help you and benefit you. But getting this and learning this can really heal your whole lineage. Because whether your kids are grown or you got grandkids, this gift of this ancient wisdom and knowledge, oh God, I wish I knew this in my 20s. Oh Lord, I could have avoided oh my God, so much, heartache and stress and just whatever. But hey, everything happens for a reason. But this is why you can have somebody like JP Morgan brag and say astrology is the language of billionaires. Only millionaires don't use it. Because this is what the people in power, from corporate America to the government to the secret societies to the church, they all know and use astrology. Don't think for 1 second they don't. That's why the new movies and things come out on Venus Friday. Entertainment, love language, devotion, chocolate, entertainment, food, fashion, date night. They know this. They also know, right? They were saying it was Ford that realized 40 hours is the perfect time to have you obedient and be a good worker, to not overexhaust you that you can't be productive, but not to right? To make you like caught up in this trap of the 5-day work week, 40 hours a week. They figured out the right amount of number. So you only really have a certain amount of hours to just actually heal and rest. Most of the weekend, you're recovering to get back to work, right? This is a slave system.
Right, because the four is stability and structure. So
Yeah.
they know that that's all you have time for.
Yeah. If you're working so much and you're paying bills and you're doing this, you're being taxed this and that, you don't have time to pontificate and question the
Right.
government and who killed JFK and who did this and why taxes and why are we off the gold reserve? Why did Nixon do that? You don't have time to think about that stuff. You are in survival. You're in fight or flight. You're in paycheck to paycheck. Even if you're making six figures, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are, you're still in the grid because even the people that make 300,000 a year, they're also spending more. And a lot of them still have high mortgages and don't own their homes and still have to pay. So they're working to still survive, even though they have more money to go on at least a nice vacation every year. But they're still in the cog in the system. You have to realize there are no accidents. Think about pure evil and then how pure evil would design something for you to stay there and them to stay here with their yachts and their toys. You can never get from there to here without total corruption and maniacal stealing and robbing. Even the lottery is fake. They've done so many studies, like, I think it was in that. Oh my God, I think Epstein won the lottery twice or something. You can't make this crap up.
Wow.
I swear to you, like, come on, come on. We gotta know. We have got. Listen, the yellow brick road is a myth and a lie. Dorothy's left the building. Like, we have got to realize and re-examine, right? There are no accidents, right? Like this is, some people don't like that term, but yeah, it's 5D chess. Like, it's like, so that's why I'm saying introspection and learning astrology, cardology, numerology, this can change your lineage, your life for the better. Even just thinking like, okay, well, maybe if I'm fortunate, I got 20, 30 years left, but I can use my chart to show me how I can reprogram my subconscious mind, how I can connect and heal better, how I can deal with my emotions. I know my moon, how I can help my granddaughter, help my nephew, help my younger brother. Right? This gets into medical astrology. You look at the transits, what's going on in your 6th and 12th house? What's happening? Right? I told you my Virgo South Node hitting my Virgo stellium, hitting my Pluto, my Lilith, my Mercury, my Sun. It's been kicking my butt. Now, what if I didn't know anything about astrology and I just got all depressed and sad and started to ruin my relationship with my kids and my wife? And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm rushing to go get all these surgeries because all these pains. And then some mishap happens. And then I wind up dying on the table because I didn't know the astrology. And I was just so in panic and stressed and anxious. But knowing the astrology, I know this is temporary. I've got to purge, release, and detox and be more maniacal, intentional about my health during this transit. And it's going to get better. So I'm optimistic. I speak high vibrationally that, because in other languages, they don't say, I am sick. Their language allows for this sickness is passing through me. It's temporary. You're not, I am is a declaration. I am healthy. You don't say I am whatever, right? That's a direct manifestation. So you got to watch when you say the I ams. Okay? So that's what this ancient wisdom can do for us. And that's why it came back at this time, because this is the time of the awakening and ascension. We're not done yet of the Piscean age. I've been getting downloads. I really feel. Remember, I tell you now, with the age of Aquarius, it's at the beach, right? When sand gets wet and your pinky toe is touching the wet sand, you're not even in the ocean. But we're the brave souls that chose to be here at this time for this shift and transition. If you ever watched that episode when Micah Dank came on, he explained the ages, right? 2,160 years. So we're in the cusp between the Piscean and the age of Aquarius. But that's why the astrologers, and I don't talk about other astrologers, but a lot of the astrologers who were saying, based on these alignments, Saturn, Neptune, Aries, Uranus, Gemini, Pluto, Aquarius, that, oh, we'll go back to the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Civil War, World War II. And I to say to that, no, because that's a Piscean age transit experience. We're now in between, more going towards the age of Aquarius. So this is I know, not I believe. This is truth and revelation. So that's why all the evil they've been doing is coming up now. The history, you name the thing, the lie is being revealed to you now. I don't care if it's NASA, I don't care if it's science, I don't care if it's nutrition, I don't care if it's medical, I don't care if it's police, I don't care if it's business, religion. The truth is coming up about all of it. Has it not been? You see it and hear it every freaking day. It's been for a while like that now. It's going to continue to come up and come out. And that is very hard for many of us to accept and deal with. And it doesn't matter where you are at spiritually or not. It's still hard. So, all right, you guys. Have a good one.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.